Welcome everyone to KindaSound Radio, the Awakening Show with me, Giles Bryant, and I am super excited to have Cheryl along. Cheryl, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm very well. Yeah, I'm very well. My energy is nice and up because I've been in rehearsal this afternoon. So,
Wow, wow. So
yeah.
Cheryl, you run the 5D Theatre, right? And KindaSounders, listen to this, sharing stories that have the capacity to open minds, awaken consciousness, and activate souls. It just sounds like a description of KindaSound Radio. Tell us a little bit more about the vision behind this and about why you do what you do.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you for quoting those words back to me. And it's true. I think quite a few of us are on that mission, but I hadn't heard enough people do it in theatre. And that's why I'm really wanting to bring that in because storytelling, as everybody knows, is such a sacred act and it's kind of been taken. And I believe a lot of the stories now either don't have any reference to soul at all, or they dampen it down and make us feel a lot less conscious. And I had a bigger mission to go, no, storytelling can awaken our consciousness. It can, unravel our feathers and make us go, okay, we're much more than we're sold a lie to be. And so I felt it was really important to reclaim that art back because I kind of felt that old systems would be crumbling and they're starting to crumble faster, I believe, right now. And so I wanted to change that and well, here's a solution. Here's something better that we could do. And here's the ancient ways of what we were doing. Let's do it. Let's bring it back so that people can help awaken their consciousness through storytelling. And if you're a spiritual person, which I believe everyone is, but it's up to everyone whether they believe it is too, you have no platform to understand your journey, your awakening. It was very lonely starting out in theatre and bringing these topics into the room and people just didn't get it. And I was like, no, I don't want to make stuff up. I want to talk about what it really is to be spiritual, to be a soul at this time on earth. So that's what I'm doing.
It's amazing. It's amazing. And as you were saying those words, I was thinking about the founder of Kind of Sound Radio, Hugh Gallagher. He's a top guy. He's right now he's in Europe. He's traveling around, seeing some people, seeing some projects, and he wants to build community. And his vision was let's have a radio station dedicated to kindness. And he's learning all these things about. And as you were talking there, I was thinking about him because he wants to do this tour, this like roadshow and take storytelling and music and food and bringing people together with his charity the missing kind. So Hugh, I hope you just heard that little bit from Cheryl there because that was quite something. So look, I just want to talk about a few different aspects of it all, right?
Yeah.
Because um you're multifaceted, so let's just stick with the plays for a minute, right? Because we've taught through story so much longer than we've had writing. It's so ancient, and in these lands here, these stories that have been kept alive. Um, and you've got let's take this to the next level. Then let's take this out there. So tell us about your plays.
Yeah, and I think you actually went the right way with saying that, before we had language, before we had anything else, we still had stories. And that's kind of what happened to me, that the story happened to me. It wasn't like I got, right, I'm going to go and be a writer. I just needed to say it because I was working as a healer, working as an actor, and then lots of spiritual things were happening to me. And so I went to get help from a healer because I thought, this is too intense. And I started to train as a healer, and I saw a past life where I was killed, hung for being a witch. And I knew nothing about past lives at the time. I knew nothing about witches at the time. And I pretty much didn't know anything about my soul story. I was like, what is this? And then I got fascinated by it. And I really wanted to know why someone like me was hung as a witch back in the 17th century. And then the universe sort of stepped in and I got this playwriting competition and ended up building this whole play around this past life. And in that process, and I've just finished that first play 8 years on, I found out why someone like me was killed as a witch. And interestingly, that it was a big suppression of the mediums and the psychics and the healers, and wiping that out and bringing in the new inorganic ways and getting rid of all of that and our connection to spirit. It was a really big agenda to wipe people out. And so I'm really grateful that I found the way to say it, because it woke me up and got me back to myself. But then as I was working more with channeling and receiving the messages of what I needed to write, which is how I work, I move, I sing, I'm very physical about the way I write so that it can all come through me. Then I realized that it was actually a trilogy. So there was loads more to say. And then
Yeah,
all that came in. So that's pretty much why I set up a theatre company, because I was like, you're not done after one play. There's like
yeah,
loads more. And the exciting thing is, I'm now in a time where I'm mentoring loads of other spiritual creatives and storytellers. And so 5D theatre just got bigger than me and my
yeah,
stories
yeah.
to support all of those. And that's when you know that it's like, it's really the awakening's happening. It's bigger, it's bigger, it's bigger.
It's like that old film in it, and that they say, build it and they will come. And if
Yeah,
you have that, I'm reading about the Grail at the moment. I'm reading a book about the Grail and really enjoying it. And it's like this, well, what is it? And but it's this, if you see it as a container, so
yeah,
when there's the container, it can hold that, like my tea, I'm drinking my herbal tea, or it can hold that
yeah,
love
me
or that
too.
consciousness or whatever. And it's like the 5D theatre, the World Healing Project, KindaSound Radio. We're talking about these things that can, you know, hold that, hold that message and hold that, sharing stories that have the capacity to open minds, awaken consciousness, and activate souls. Now, look, we're trying to do that on Kind of Sound Radio. That's so better mission statement that we've got. We say tuning in for change, but you maybe yours has had a bit more
That's
thought.
very catchy for radio, though, tuning in for
Well,
change.
kind of the jingle. We'll play the jingle now.
Yeah.
Kind of sound, tuning in for change. So that's the thing with it as well. We put in the jingles and things, which makes it quite humorous and play a bit of music and whatever. Kind of sound, tuning in for change. We're back. We're back with Cheryl Prince and the 5D Theatre on Kind of Sound Radio on the Awakening Show. So your plays look amazing. And by the way, 5dtheatre.co.uk. That is the number 5 and the D theatre.co.uk, and have a look at this amazing work that Cheryl is really a part of. Take me to the 5D temple.
Ah, wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. So, yeah, interestingly, when you said about build it and they will come, I've had a lot of those human doubts in my life. Like, first, oh, no one's going to want to do a spiritual story. No, I shouldn't put that out there. And then the second one was like, oh, yeah, there's not a whole tribe of us. And then I just was like, but why would I get the message if there wasn't? And then it was like, just step in. And interestingly, I was like, the 5D temple I was actually working on at the beginning of this week. I've run a lot of courses and workshops and realized that writers were like, oh, I want to channel my soul story, or healers want to know more about who they are on a soul level, or people were writing and didn't know there's a whole spiritual practice you can bring in to make it easier. That actually the biggest names do work with psychics. They're channeling stuff, they're bringing stuff through.
yeah,
It's just whether they're bringing the right stuff through. So I feel like I've got a working class background, and we're kind of taught that somebody else has the genius. And that's not true. We do, once we are able to channel and tap in with our soul. And so it felt really important for me not to just have all this knowledge and gifts that have kind of been given down from learning my soul and understanding it and passing it on to other people and nurturing them. So the 5D Temple is a space where I'm going to be mentoring other artists. I've been running Channel Your Soul Story for a while, that course. And then there's also, because I'm me, there's also a lot of teachings around what I name the dark agenda and my spiritual truth exposure, which I feel is a very important part of my work, because that's the message of the second play, that we need to look at this shadow in our society,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
because spirituality isn't just love and light.
No, 100%. Absolutely. I remember. We used to have a guy who ran the station, Kind of Sound Radio, Joe. And if you're listening to this, Joe, I'm going to send you the episode. So shout out to Jumping Joe in South Africa. He's one of these like top people. We never physically met him, but we, over the years over the radio. So because it's all about kindness, right? The Kind of Sound Radio, it's all about kindness. So I remember I did a report once, and it was on one of the early freedom rallies in London when there
Yeah.
was the nut job, and they were like, no, you can't gather, you can't, shut your business and all that. And it was quite an early one. We were in London, Trafalgar Square, Davy, like 45,000 people, and I reported on it for Kind of Sound Radio. And
Nice.
it was great at the time as well because I had a press pass. So, you could turn up to places and you go, well, I'm press, I'm media.
Right.
Like, well, what are the BBC not allowed there? Well, I'm
Yeah.
reporting on it, so anyway, I did this show, and Joe he goes, yeah, Giles, he goes, we've got to make sure it's about kindness. And I said, it wasn't a very good South African accent there. Oh, Joe. And I said, Joe, it is about kindness. Letting people letting them know what's going on is about kindness. It may be a difficult message at times. You're pointing these things out. I go, it is about kindness, Joe. That's why it was there. And I'm sure
Yeah.
you feel the same with your work.
Yeah, I feel it's about love, like I
Love, yeah,
love,
love and kindness.
yeah, which is it's the same thing, isn't it? That I
Mhm.
love humankind so much that if I know stuff that other people don't, and I have the gift and the curse of being psychic. So I see a lot of things that are coming.
Yeah.
I'm tapped into the astral realm, the soul realm. I see harm that happens beyond the veil. People come to me as a medium and tell me what's wrong, from the other side. And so if I've been gifted that and I keep that to myself, that's not kindness. That's sending lambs to the slaughter in some ways, or that's not helping people get justice. So it comes from a place of love, even though some people are like, don't do it, you shouldn't do it, or, don't do that way. And I'm like, no, I love humanity too much to let it fall.
Yeah.
Not on my watch, not if I can do anything. Yeah.
I totally love that. And we met at a couple of years ago at I think one of the Freedom events, the Freedom Network events. And shout out to Kizzy, Karen Dodd and the team and all the people doing these things, Eli the Everyman and all these events that have been going on. Fantastic and a good thing. And one of the things that I've found about them is in terms of meeting your tribe. And it's one of the things that the nut job's done. The cruelness of the nut job, obviously, it brought a lot of division and disconnection and obviously killed a lot of people as well, tragedies of the nut job. But also what it did was it brought people together of a like mind
Mm.
because there were people who just said, do one, I am going to this event. So you can do one with your nut job. I'm a sovereign being, I'm going. And these people are going, and you get to meet people, and then you get to kind of hang out and learn about things. And one of the things we chatted about with your work and the plays, and I'm really excited to chat more to you about this, is spreading that the positive messages and the solutions. One of which I offer to the world, the perpetual choirs,
Yeah.
singing, singing these sacred songs again, and the story of the perpetual choirs. I think would be fantastic to tell as a theatre production.
Yes. Oh, yeah. And I want to say to you, thank you, because I was going to the London Ley Line Walk and you said to me, can you sing a song for peace when I was there? And I went along, saw some pretty psychically, some hard things. And we got to the end and I was like, oh my God, this has been a tough walk. We stood on sacred land at the end. There's a few sacred stones hidden in this part of London. And I was like, can everyone chant with me?
Yes.
Because your message came back to me. I was like, can we just stand in a circle and end our tour with a chant? And we all chanted 5 times together the womb chant of healing. And
Okay.
I thought, yeah, yeah. So yeah, I love your work that you're doing. And it's a great sort of balance to the land work that I've been doing because I bring through a lot of trauma
Yeah.
on the land. And actually it does. really balance it out when you can understand that harm of the land and then bring it up and raise the consciousness.
We did one of the events. I'm not sure if you're at the one down at Hope Sussex. Shout out to the Hope Sussex crew as well, Katie Joe and all those crew down there. Love those people. And they'd had the last speaker had been it had been sort of exposing the forces of control, basically. It's very heavy. And then we went in and we did the music, and the participant, I wasn't in the talk, the heavy talk. I don't, I know it. I don't need to sit through 90
Yeah.
minutes of it. Good luck to the guy and everyone who wants to learn about it. But, I was hanging out with David Icke 25 years ago, so I kind of got a
Yeah.
bit of a clue on some of it anyway. We did the music, and the participants said it was such an important balance
Yeah.
to the energy of the whole event, because it was looking at, yeah, this is going on, so let's have a look at it, but also let's sing together, let's move, let's chant, let's celebrate, let's be in that vibe. And when I was at the Glastonbury Symposium, exactly the same thing. These old biddies who, like very aware, like these old biddies came up to me afterwards, and if you get praise from the old biddies, you're all right. Do you know what I mean? And they said it was just what was needed, because they had perceived the whole energetics, who got biddy power. They were
Yeah.
like, they were like, just, and I think that's the power of it, isn't it? Just the power of like, oh, love and healing through
Yeah.
sound.
Yeah.
Simple.
I think I was there at that Freedom and Hope. I feel like I was, because I feel like I was there when you did the closing, and I felt like it was a lot of, yeah, sharing energy, like bombarding with information, and it's important information. It should never be silenced. But then it came to the end, and it was like, and now we're celebrating that we're here, we're a
Yes.
human tribe, and it
Yes.
needed that balance. And I often said to people, because I know that my plays can have quite hard dramatic content in it, and people have said this is triggering and this, that,
Yeah,
and
I
the other.
bet.
And I remember moving into wanting to do more than plays, so that it's a healing container, so that we don't just go, oh my God, all this
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
That actually you get held. And that's what you did with that space, that it's like holding everybody in kindness for what they might have brought up in themselves or heard or been horrified by. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a really important thing. And I think one of the things I realized as well, you were saying about the 5D, and it's grown, and more people coming on board with it. It's that I think sometimes my old man's got a saying, and he says, Giles, and if you're listening, Dad, this story's for you. Giles, one man cannot carry half a piano, but two men can carry one piano. It's like the power of the teamwork makes the dream work. We're
Yeah.
recently at our primary school, where the young boy goes, and we got all the kids, some of the kids and parents after school, some of the teachers to tidy up the school, and it was like a little army. It was like the Amish people or something, all working together. Honestly, an hour and a half, it was just, you just couldn't believe it. And I think bringing people together can be a very powerful thing, but it's also the responsibility that comes with, well, if you are sharing this shit with people, you
Yeah.
know, it's like at those Tony Robbins events, they have all these volunteers there just making sure people are all right. Just, are you okay? Because you know,
Yeah.
bringing these things
Yes.
up. And I think for you, what's a great thing is you're this visionary, the things are coming through, fair play to you having some guts and going for it. And what you said before about our backgrounds and how that projects upon us,
Mm.
and how, maybe we see ourselves and what we can actually do. I mean, personally, I believe I'm a genius because I am, but there we go. But moving things on, but having that kind of aspect, that other part of it, and then working with people one to one. Talk about your work, your 5D sessions, because these look absolutely fantastic. Your soul story sessions and the work you're doing when you're working with individuals.
Yeah. So Because I've been through the spiritual ringer, let's say, so I went through a period of going, oh my God, lots of people in the spiritual community aren't sort of saying things as they are, I felt.
Yeah, right.
And my training was in angelic Reiki a long time ago. That's where I got into it all. And it's very much a training of give it over to something bigger, this angelic kingdom, and channel it all through you. But on my path, I was like, one, that can be quite dangerous because I know a lot about magical practices and channeling and how they can harm. Two, who are you giving it over to? And three, like, you know, you've got to make sure that your connection with whatever is very strong. So I kind of moved away from what I was doing and ended up moving into soul guided sessions. And what that meant was I was just sitting with the person who was in front of me and reading what their soul most needed. So instead of coming in with any kind of, it's going to be this, and it throws people, they're like, well, can we do this? Can we, I do entity removals, I do psychic work, I do energy release, all of that. I sometimes help people channel their whole stories through in an hour, and they're like, what? But it's like whatever their soul needs in that moment, that's what we're going to work on in that session. Because their soul is really important. And I feel like even people in the spiritual community have lost connection with their soul somehow. Like they'll go, oh, I'll give it to this person, or I surrender to this person. And we just got to be careful because there's a programming of surrender it to something bigger. Now, I'm not saying I don't believe in the divine. I absolutely do. I'm in doing this because I'm in service to the divine. But I need to keep connected to my soul too, my soul on this work. And also because I believe souls have been harmed. So I think we need to rebalance our connection with our soul and call it back and call our light in. So that's where I kind of shifted into being a soul guide more than anything else that I do.
Welcome to the mothership, right here on KindaSound Community Radio.
So we are soul. Yes, I wrote this song and it goes, the way is clear and easy. Trust in who you are and be here now, the best that you can be. And the chorus goes, we are soul one with God. And then it goes, the way is clear and easy, because the way isn't always clear and easy. Sometimes it's extremely tough, but it goes, the way is clear and easy when we let go of our fears. And then the next line goes, and trust in who we are. Every moment is a present. Every moment we've got is a present. What a gift. And be here now. And be the best that you can, be the best of who you are. And then the final line goes, we can heal the world. And in a sense here, I think that our individual reflects that external. And in the old days, people gathered for plays and wisdom was expressed through these plays. And in the old days, people were singing together for peace and love and joy in the world. And I think we're bringing it back and it's very exciting. Cheryl, let's just have a final few words from you, please. And the website again is 5dtheatre.co.uk. Final words from you, my dear.
Yeah, so what do I want to say? I think I just want to say that, I like people to know that there's someone out there doing stories for them. I feel that the spiritual community are the most underrepresented in the arts. We don't have a tick box. No one knows we're underrepresented. And then we are actually the whole world. So how about that? So celebrating that, that not only me, loads of people are changing the art scene, the storytelling scene, and bringing it back to a sacred act. And I think that's something to be very, very happy and celebratory of. So, yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, I've enjoyed spending the time with you here and looking forward to seeing you soon in Bury St Edmunds.
Yay.
We're going to have a look at some of those ley lines. So, Cheryl Prince, thank you very much. That is 5dtheatre.co.uk. You've been listening to KindaSound Radio with me, Giles Bryant, and I'll see you soon for another Awakening show. At the grave.